are back with hot and spicy chat on dating and relationships because we love bringing more value all the way from Australia with Cristina Davy. Amazing, absolutely amazing coach and somebody who can take you from being single to being in a relationship, and myself, Olga Geidane, all the way from UK, who actually can help you as a couple to move on and reignite your relationships. And today we have another exciting topic for you. Christina, would you like to announce that?
I nearly did it. I nearly did it. I just posted and then I just took it off really quick. Hi everyone, it's great to be back, and it's great to do this with Olga again. And today our topic is age gap challenges in relationships. And this is actually landing at the right time. I was just having this conversation only a few days ago with a client of mine, who was talking about meeting someone really interesting, but unfortunately, she was way too young for him, he was saying. And in this particular situation, what was happening was that his concerns were, which is, a common concern, was that, well, she might want kids. And then obviously, he didn't want any more kids. And that was a problem, like, though she doesn't want kids right now, his concerns were like, what if she wants kids later? So that's definitely a challenge. We all have to admit that sometimes it's not necessarily about the age, but it's really about what is it that you want. That's what I think. What about you, Olga?
I agree, Christina. And the thing is, age is just a number. That's my opinion. I think what's really important to remember that we mature at different age, right? We all mature at different
Mm-hmm.
ages. You meet sometimes people in their 50s and they're still immature. And then you meet some people in their 20s and they're way too mature. So I think in terms of age gap, I think is not that important. However, the maturity, that's what really matters. For example, I know because I was one of the first girls, not one of, I was the first girl to get married amongst my girlfriends, as well as the first girl to have a child. So that means my maturity level was always a lot higher than theirs, right? So somebody who would meet me in my 30s, in my 20s, they were like, whoa, like you are way too mature. Like, what happened to you, girl? Okay. Well, life basically happened to me, right? So that's what's really important, that you might meet somebody who is probably younger than you or maybe older than you, but you got to always ask yourself, are they aligned with what you are like? I think this what really
Mm-hmm.
matters.
Absolutely, 100%. I was just about to say lifestyle matters. Age, not so much, but your lifestyle, your levels of energy will definitely matter, because if you're someone who is highly active, young at heart, and still wants to go out there and live life and experience a lot of things, you could be 50, you could be 60, you could be literally, 30. It doesn't really matter. Like, I know a lot of people in their 30s, and 40s, that their levels of energy is really low, right? They live a more sedentary life, and therefore they don't want to do that much. And then I know some 50, 55, and even 60 years old that are out there, getters, they're just like, they just started a business. I know some people that are building houses. So there's like, so, such a high level of
Yeah.
investment in a variety of aspects of their life. So ultimately, it's, well, your lifestyle and level of energy. And I think also, again, I go back to where you are right now. Are you young at heart? I spoke with a client of mine and she was saying, hey, can I just put my age 10 years younger? Right, or at least 5 years younger, because like I put my age, like I'm really not all the guys I'm attracting at my age. She said, they're just too boring. Their life, it's like too boring. I don't want to, I'm young
I
and hard.
agree.
I'm like, yeah, I might be 55, but I'm on 50. I can't remember. But, I really live my life like I'm in my 40s. So I was like, well, I don't know, as long as you disclose that, that's up to you ultimately. But
Yeah,
you can see how being young at heart, and that goes to the emotional maturity as well, right? It will be
absolutely.
a problem as well.
It's true, absolutely. And I must say that I see the biggest challenge when it comes to age gap is our own belief that it is a challenge. Don't you think so, Christina? Because very often you see couples, like my mom, for example, she was married to a guy who was 10 years younger than her, and he passed away first as well. Because
Mhm.
very often people think, well, if my partner is a lot older than me, that means they will pass away sooner, and then I'll be all alone, I'll be abandoned, I'll be left, and everything else. Well, my stepdad, he was 10 years younger than my mom, and he passed away first. Okay, so when it comes to age gap challenges, I think the first challenge is our own mind playing up with us. Okay, yes, there's a matter of maturity. Yes, there's a matter of different life goals. Yes, there's a matter of different life stages. Okay, but I think the most important thing is us believing that we're not going to allow age gap impact ourselves. Okay, and we're going to adjust. And I think it's something where couples need to remember if your partner is older or younger, it's important to adjust to each other. It really is important. Otherwise, you're going to end up being a single person in a relationship. You might want to go out and they will not want to. Well, you got to think about it in advance. Okay, what will happen once we are there? Right? How can you compromise? How can you actually allow each other to still enjoy life, even though you might not want to enjoy life? But I think the first thing to fix is it really our expectation of having challenges because of the age gap or lack of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I think we also have to consider health, right? So the older we get,
Hmm.
sometimes the more health problems we have as well.
Yeah,
So it makes it sometimes hard when it comes to mobility,
yeah,
you know, and what we are able to do, going back to what I was saying earlier as well. I think the older we get, and especially when we get to, let's just say, if it's a 20 years gap, right, or even more, 30 years gap, right, so what you can do at 30 and 40, sometimes it's completely different than 60 or 65.
yeah.
But then you also got to consider health too, because
Hmm.
our health sometimes deteriorate. Deteriorating. Sorry, I couldn't say the word. And
I get
with
it.
that comes a whole other challenge, right?
Hmm.
That we got to consider as well. But yeah, I don't really think. I think while it can be challenging, I don't think it's not doable. But you
Yeah.
just got to really look at the resonance within the two people, how are they relating to all these challenges? Like, you could have also, obviously, family disapproval, like you got to overcome some, uh, be okay to overcome some judgment from others and looks, right? You got to have a certain
Yeah.
level of certainty and confidence within yourself as well to be able to navigate a relationship or the age gap. It's quite big as well, but yeah, it's definitely not necessarily easy, but I definitely think it's doable. Now, the
Hmm.
only thing that I will probably question is the longevity of a
Yeah.
relationship. So it is possible. I'm just not sure when it comes to the duration of it, if it's going to be easy. What do you think?
I hear what you're saying, and I definitely can see even bigger challenges approaching when people probably will start hitting their 60s and 70s. Because if your partner, let's say, is 20 years older than you, that means they'll be in their 80s whilst you're still in your 60s, right? And I think that is a huge difference. And I think it also could be a challenge, for example, if your partner is in their 20s, but you're in your 40s, right? As you said earlier on about your client, would they want to have more children, right? What will be the situation about that? Are they really ready to settle whilst you might be not ready because you're still in your 20s, right? Maybe you still want to travel, but they want to have babies because they're in their 40s. So I definitely can see some challenges coming through, but I think what's really important is to have open conversations. But for example, in
Yeah.
my case, I always preferred older guys. The reason why, because they'll be more mature, they'll be more settled. They wouldn't have this stupid boys behavior. There'll be deeper conversations. They'll be smarter. They'll be already achieving something. And it'll be just always more interesting. And also, they will already know how to look after their woman. They already will be in this behavior of being a man who knows, the rules when it comes to looking after women, rather being a boy and still figuring it out. And I'm not here to be their mummy and teach them how to do things. Like, no thanks, right? I have my own boy. I don't need another boy, okay? But some women, they might be more motherly and they would want to have a boy. They would want to have a toy boy, whatever they're called, right? But I'm not like that. I always prefer to have an older guy because I know then I'll be a lot safer with an older guy than with somebody who is either younger than me or my age. And that'll be always a matter of you're not too mature. You're not mature enough. And that will always put me off. It's not the age number that would put me off, it's the behavior that would be around guys
Maturity.
who are my age or younger. Yeah, exactly. So it's the maturity for me that was always a
Yeah.
challenge or lack of it.
The other thing that we also have to consider is that sometimes people want to retire, right? So they want to retire
Yes.
early, and especially here in Australia, I can see this quite often. People wanted to retire, and then if one is retiring and the other is not, it's still, working full time and maybe even having like a side hustle, which is so common right now. That again is going to, create a gap in time available for each other and for doing things. Like often people want to retire and they just want to travel, right? And especially here in Australia, they like to go and travel with a caravan, go around Australia and just don't do much, right? So you're gonna have that as well that you have to consider. So again, not saying that it's easy, but I don't think it's that hard either if you have a lot in common and what you want to do from now on, it's similar as well, or at least it
Agree.
complements,
Yeah.
right?
Totally agree with you, Christina. And I
Mm.
think sometimes we can over plan our life. So sometimes when we get together, we want to pre-plan our entire life until the death date and to know what we're gonna do and how we're gonna do it and what we're gonna do 40 years later. But the reality is, instead of being afraid how you will manage your age gap once you will hit your 50, 60, 70, why not to enjoy all these years that you have? Because first, you might never even reach that gap because something will happen to one of you and you'll pass away. My dad passed away when he was 24. As many great plans I had with my mom, he passed away when he was 24, literally 2 weeks after the wedding. Okay, so it doesn't matter what they would plan, he just passed away at the age of 24. Okay, and other
Mm.
couples, they might just separate for one reason or another. And I think what's really important is to enjoy as much as you have, right? Because very often we get
Mm.
trapped in almost like expectation. We have to make it work until the last day of our breath. Well, if you're meant to be together until the last day of your breath, then you will be, but make sure you make the best time out of it. But if you're not meant to be for one reason or another, what's the point to contemplate and not allowing yourself to enjoy all this time because of the age gap, because of potential challenges, because of potential issues later on? Well, cross the bridge once you approach it. That's what we have back home, okay? You're gonna cross that bridge once you approach that, okay? There's no point to think how you're gonna cross the bridge before you're even there, right? So I think
Mm.
biggest challenge what I see people are experiencing is the fear of judgment, as you said earlier on, what will other people say, but also their own worries. What will
Mm.
happen when? Well, enjoy your life for now and worry about it later on. But have open conversations about your concerns, about your worries, and see how you can already maybe think and plan ahead how you could compromise once you reach that bridge. But don't attempt to cross that bridge before you reached it. Seriously, enjoy your life for
I
now.
think I think it's good. I think it's definitely good to have a direction,
Yeah.
because that's making it easier to pick up a partner, right? So having clarity about the direction where you're going and
Mhm.
having an understanding of what is it that you want to achieve in the next 5, 10 years, or having sort of a vision of your life roughly is definitely handy. But we gotta admit to, we also have to be flexible because our plans are not always going exactly how we want it. And, we can recalibrate. We can definitely
Mhm.
um, do something and adjust to it meanwhile. And as things are happening, if we are open minded and allow flexibility, and if we are transparent and vulnerable with each other and say, hey, we've been 5 years together, but from now on, this is what I want and this is what you want. I remember it's really funny. Okay, so with my ex-husband, when we came to Australia together, we were already, I don't know, 12, 13 years together. So we came here to Australia and we wanted different things. He was so focused on his career, and I wanted a family, and I wanted to spend like our weekends in a bar with barbecues and stuff like that. But then he just wanted to get out there, participate to social events and everything like that. So I felt so disconnected from him. I felt like so confused, like, wow, we don't want the same things. And I could not see how that was complementing, because how we were going to spend time together was very different. And interesting enough, so many years later, now I am in that situation where, like, I am, focused on my business. I am out there talking to hundreds of people all the time, having
Yeah.
all these events. So, like, what I was 10 years ago, or whatever, how
Mhm.
long it's been, it doesn't have to stay the same. We evolve. And with that, being transparent and vulnerable with the other person, hey, this is where I am right now, this is what I'm going towards, just allows us to have clarity if we are still a match. Sometimes we are not, and that's okay. I think the whole idea of being with one person until the end of our lives, it's really um, sometimes just not necessarily beneficial, because for the sake of staying with the one person, and not divorce and not allow yourself to be single, or put yourself out there again, we can be completely unhappy and miserable, in our relationship and most of the time in our life. So I think it's really good to reevaluate what's the most important thing, for us at any given time. And if we have clarity about that and communicate with the other person, as long as we are aligned, age is just a number.
I agree with you. I agree with you because again, we put so much pressure on ourselves when it comes to being with that one person,
Mm.
and sometimes things just don't work out for one reason or another, right? It might be not even the age gap, right? I know the conversation right now is about the age gap. It might be not even about the age gap, but because of the fear of being judged, because of the rule you have to be together. Because yes, but we've been together for so long, what's the point to separate now? Because of children, because of these, because of so many reasons people still stick together whilst they're not happy. And Christina, I don't believe in that. I believe in being happy. This is what I
Mm.
believe in. And if you would be happier without your partner, you'd rather be without your partner, Right. So regardless what your reason is, seriously, if right now you're not happy in your relationship, of course, I'm not for breaking up in the relationship straight away because you're not happy for one day. No, try to make it work. See what you could heal about yourself. See where could you find a compromise. See what needs to be discussed. See what needs to be talked about. If you tried everything and it's still not working out, you're still not happy, consider being single. Don't be afraid of being single because you might find somebody with whom you'll be the happiest person in the world. And I can guarantee you it will happen. It also happened in my case, even though I was so worried about getting divorced and I was thinking, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? The, fear of judgment and everything else. But eventually you meet somebody and you think, oh my goodness, now I see why it did not work out with the previous person. Because just around the corner, there was a person who will make you happiest ever. Right? And again, it could be the age gap, could be not, regardless of the reason. If you're not happy where you are, consider leaving and consider being with somebody else going forward. Don't jump ahead straight away, but think one day, just allow yourself for that to happen. But going back to topic of age gap today, because that's the topic, right? Do not allow the fear of the age gap or anything related to the age gap to stop you from enjoying that relationship. Do not allow that.
The thing is that a relationship will have challenges no matter what, and I love what Beck was saying. Hi Beck, it's great to have you with us as usual. Beck says love an age gap, and I think she means that in a, like, she likes younger men. There's a wink in there. So great to have you with us, Beck. Yeah, ultimately we just got to remember that any relationship will have challenges. So
Yes.
Age gap or no age gap, but you definitely could have potentially, even more if you're not seeing and noticing the differences. But for those of you who are struggling with an age gap in your relationship and you feel like it is really hard to navigate it, make sure you reach out, to Olga. Olga is a relationship coach who can definitely help you, get the gap a lot smaller, and help you find those similarities, help you find a common ground, and really overcome no matter what challenges you have in your relationship.
Oh, thank you, Christina. Definitely, we'll be looking forward to help those who are struggling with their relationship right now to reignite it. But if you're not in a relationship right now and you're thinking, well, what do I do? Where do I go? Look at these amazing, gorgeous ladies on the screen. Cristina Davy is the one to go to for sure. So if you're a single lady and you want to put ring on that finger, reach out to Cristina because she'll help you to understand yourself a lot better and to release whatever blocks and barriers you have in order to meet your partner. As a guy, you also can reach out to Cristina, by the way, okay? Not only for ladies, but I know that she has amazing programs for single ladies. So reach out to Cristina, find you're the one, and have an amazing life together.
It was great to do this with you again, Olga. It's been a while, so it's good to be back, and I definitely look forward to do this again with you next week. Thank you everyone for being here. Please make sure you share this on your wall, or share it with somebody that you think might benefit from listening to, and comment in the comment your insights. What did from it, what did you really, of course, we love to hear from you. Anything on the topic, we'll love to get some feedback. Thank you everyone for being here. We'll see you all next week.
We'll see you all next week. Thank you